Today, the Ethics Panel of Parliament met and adopted a report recommending the expulsion of TMC MP Mahua Moitra from the Lok Sabha. This report, by the way, also asked for another member of Parliament, BSP MP Danish Ali, to be censured. This report was adopted with a 6-4 vote. Voting in favour were Vinod Kumar Sonkar, Sumedhanand Saraswati, Aprajita Sarangi and Dr. Rajdeep Roy, all from the BJP. Hemant Godse of the Shiv Sena and even Congress MP Praneeth Kaur also voted in favour of the report. Voting against were 4 members of Parliament of the opposition: Danish Ali, V. Vethalingam, P.R. Natarajan and Girdhari Yadav. All of them also submitted their dissent notes. Reacting to the proceedings, Mahua Moitra today said that she has been made the victim of a kangaroo court. Earlier, she had also alleged that the principle of natural justice is being violated in not even giving her the opportunity to cross-question those who are levelling allegations against her. She says that all of them are without any basis. Now, some of these objections were also raised by the opposition MPs in their dissent notes. They asked, why has there been no discussion on the report before it was adopted? They have also alleged double standards on parts of the ethics panel, which they say hasn't acted against BJP MP Ramesh Biduri for a case against him pending before the ethics committee, but has acted against Mahua Moitra with alacrity. There was also anger. Why has the report been made public even before the ethics panel adopts it? There were questions also about why Darshan Hiranandani hasn't been called before the ethics panel or hasn't been questioned. Now, replying to all of these charges, here is what the man who was at the head of the ethics committee and whose signatures were on the committee report had to say in his defense.
देखिए, आज का एजेंडा ही था कि रिपोर्ट को एडॉप्ट करना, ठीक है। उसको लेके कल विस्तृत जो जांच हुई थी, पूरी की पूरी रिपोर्ट अपनी सिफारिशों के साथ सम्मानित सदस्यों को भेज दी गई थी और आज की कार्रवाई का महत्व उद्देश्य था रिपोर्ट को एडॉप्ट करना। इस पर अगर किसी को आपत्ति था तो अपना डिसेंट नोट दे सकता था। उस सम्मानित सदस्यों ने अपना डिसेंट नोट दिया भी है। देखिए, जब ये पूरी रिपोर्ट पार्लियामेंट के टेबल पर पहुंचेगी, पब्लिक डोमेन पे आएगी, पूरी रिपोर्ट देखेंगे तो आपको लगेगा एथिक्स कमेटी ने पूरी विस्तृत इसकी जांच की है। जिसकी आवश्यकता थी उनको बुलाया गया, उनसे पूरा बहस जीरा किया गया, उनसे साक्ष्य लिया गया और जिनकी आवश्यकता नहीं तो उन्हें बुलाया गया। महुआ मोइत्रा के द्वारा जो अपने बचाव में जो बातें कही, उन सारी बातों को ऑन रिकॉर्ड लेके उसको एग्जामिन करके एक विस्तृत रिपोर्ट मानी लोकसभा स्पीकर महोदय को अपनी सिफारिशों के साथ एथिक्स कमेटी ने तैयार किया।
But despite that, the opposition is not satisfied. The BJP on its part is saying that why should the focus be on incidentals? The focus should be on what the report says and the misdemeanor detailed inside the report and also the threat to national security. They even quote specific instances where the committee has found that not only were rules broken by Mahua Moitra and that prima facie it would endanger national security, but also that the charge of quid pro quo has been proven correct. The question now is, was this fair process or, as Mahua Moitra alleges, a kangaroo court?
दो रूल्स, एक रूल दो मापदंड नहीं हो सकते। पार्लियामेंट के अंदर रमेश बिदुरी ने किस तरह कैसे किया, एक जगह बुलेट ट्रेन की तरह कार्रवाई हो गई, दूसरी तरफ ठंडे बस्ते में पड़ी।
बहुमत उसके पास था, फैसला उसी के पक्ष में होना चाहिए था, लेकिन डिस्कशन होके होना चाहिए ना। नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन आता है, जानता है कि सरकार जीतेगी, हम हारेंगे, लेकिन बहस होता है, 2 दिन होता है। ये तो 2 मिनट भी बहस करने के लिए तैयार नहीं है।
There is no evidence crossing. And we want to examine the Darshan Hiranandani. The committee not allowed us. There is no cash transaction evidence. There is no rules for the login ID and other things. So what is wrong with this? That is the issue from the opposition side.
All right, so let's take that question across to Rakhee Rathore, spokesperson of the BJP, joining us along with Abhijit Iyer Mitra, senior fellow at IPCS, Dr. Shantanu Sen, MP and national spokesperson of the TMC, political analyst Kamar Zaman Chaudhary and Vivek Srivastav. Rakhee Rathore, I'll start with you. Why the double standards? Answer this, that why this bullet train speed, where Mahua Moitra has been investigated, all inputs have come from MHA, from IT, God knows where all, and the report has been adopted, she has been condemned. Why the double standards? Why the speed?
Padmaja, we are discussing about two things, and the two things are very different kind of subject was there. In case of Rajendra Viduri, you know, our defense minister, he apologized in the parliament, but this is a very serious issue, and it's a very crystal clear case. It's an open and shut case where Mahua Moitra has accepted that she has shared her parliamentary login IDs with the businessman, and the businessman has also admitted that the businessman has given some luxury item gifts and also paid for the renovation of her official bungalow. So the question is, no question can arise at this moment, but the point is, the need of the hour is that how severe punishment should be given. In fact, I would like to request the Lok Sabha Speaker, because it is the time that an example should be set for other lawmakers also, because it's a question on national security. She has not only compromised with the parliamentary ethics, but also compromised on the issue of national security. Because apart from asking question, he must have got access to other details also, which are not available in public domain. So it's a very serious issue. So that is why we just want to request the Lok Sabha Speaker, because some rules should be set so that the other parliamentarian or other lawmaker never dare to do these kind of activities, these kind of conducts in future. So this is the need of the hour.
Okay, so answer this, Kamar Zaman Chaudhary. Why is there an effort to try and divert from the main issue? Now, all of the objections are secondary. Whether it was too fast or too slow, or why is this not being done to Ramesh Viduri, the fact of the matter is that the committee has found that national security was endangered, and let's talk about the specifics. The committee report says, according to sources, that the login credentials of Mahua Moitra were used at a time when she was not in UAE. They have mentioned specific dates. During the period from the 1st of January 2019 to 30th September 2023, Mahua Moitra visited UAE on 4 occasions. 7th November 2021, 15th April 2022, 20th November 2022 and 11th August 2023. But her login credentials were used at a time when she wasn't in Dubai, 47 times, which means that at a time when Ms. Moitra was not in UAE, someone sitting there was using her login credentials. Why are these details not being addressed? Kamar Zaman Chaudhary.
Yeah, Padmaja, first and foremost, I believe this entire proceedings was started on one query, cash for query scam. I don't know where the cash went out of this entire investigation. But coming back to your question out here, whether Hirandani was provided the user ID and login, but what I believe, and I have debated a long number of times out here, that the login credentials might have been used by Mr. Hirandani in Dubai or USA or UK. But it was, I believe, OTP based. That means any time the login was done, Mahua Moitra's consent was taken for this. Now the complainant
irrespective whether she gives consent or not, a third party cannot gain access to your login.
Padmaja, you are long enough into this news industry that you must be well aware that the login ID of none of the MPs is being handled by them, because every MP has got interns with him. Interns log in with their ID and password at the consent of the MP. They file questions.
So frankly, I mean, I've heard this excuse very often, but if we stick to the facts and what the rules are, let me again quote to you what sources have told us about what the report has found very specifically. They have said very specifically, it has been explicitly informed by the Ministry of Home Affairs that several of the documents are not available in public domain. These include draft bills which are circulated in advance to members for consideration. For example, the J&K delimitation bill was circulated in advance. The IP address, while logging into login credentials, you can actually gain access to all of these secret documents, number one. Number two, transfer of login credentials to unauthorized elements could provide an opportunity to such elements to access the system, leading to several potential hazards. They also say that Darshan Hiranandani is an Indian national, holder of Indian passport. However, he has close relatives who are foreign nationals, and it creates serious leakage of sensitive material to foreign agencies. Now, whether you get an OTP or you get a PPT, the fact is you cannot give it to a third person. That's a rule.
I accept this is a serious breach of national security. Now, to be very fair to Mahua Moitra out here, can the IT ministry divulge the details of all the 543 MPs login? Where was the MP at what time? Who logged in from which place? It makes a level playing field. Am I right or wrong? Padmaja,
okay, for a level playing field, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Kumar Chaudhary says, fine, she did something wrong, but aisa hi chalta hai. Everyone does it, now you are going after her.
Look, first of all, you need to have credible evidence in order to start an investigation. And you do not go after everybody for murder just because somebody hurls an accusation at them. All right. And just because you haven't caught murderers in 99 other cases doesn't mean you can't sentence a murderer in the one case that you catch them. So, selectivity and the right of selectivity is built into the law. So this is an excuse. Either the selectivity or the arbitrariness or the decision to go after somebody based on specific evidence provided. And mind you, the affidavit in question has visual evidence of gifts given and specific accusations which have been verified. Now, if Kabru or any of the others can provide the details, I'm sure with specific references, I'm sure the police or the ethics committee will go into that. So let us know which MPs have and show us the documentary evidence.
Kamar Zaman Chaudhary, by all means, please go to the ethics panel. Urge the Congress to go to ethics panel with all of the BJP guys who are sharing their login credentials with people sitting in Dubai elsewhere. Or anyone, any third person.
Padmaja, you must have gone through the ethics committee regulations and guidelines that is there, wherein the onus of providing the proof in any accusation, anybody can make a presentation to the ethics committee, but it is incumbent on the complainant to provide the proof. The burden of proof lies with the complainant. In this particular case, what happened? A plain affidavit citing some infactual or factual, we never know, because the investigation was itself a farce. No investigation could have been completed without the opposite side being questioned or given a chance to represent his or her viewpoint. Now, in this case, the government of India is supplying the evidence to the ethics committee without the Hirandani coming in. He becomes an approver just because if you question Modani, you have to be a Mahua Moitra.
Abhijit,
that is the bottom line.
Abhijit, respond. I want to bring in the TMC then. Yes.
So here's the problem. In the affidavit, as far as I understand it, I haven't seen it, of course, but as I understand the affidavit, Mr. Deyadrai has claimed to have been party to this proceedings. He has seen this happen. Okay, which has a seriousness all of its own, number one. Number two, you don't need to have the person there because this is a legalized document. It's not just a notarized document, it is a legalized document, which is a stand-in for a personal appearance, number two. And number three, the ethics committee then asks for basic evidence. Okay, so for example, if a murder has happened, you first ask, you don't know what's happened inside, you don't know what's happened inside the house, but you ask the police for CCTV footage and you make a finding based on that. So far, that is what has happened, and therefore, based on that, they have recommended to the speaker that she be expelled.
Okay, now another point that was raised, and let's be completely factual about it. Let's also go across to Tausif Ahmed from the TMC who has joined us now. Tausif Ahmed, we've got, Tausifur Rahman, pardon me, Mr. Tausifur Rahman from the TMC joining us now. Sorry, pardon me. Mr. Tausifur Rahman. Earlier, Mr. Kamar Zaman Chaudhary said, this was called cash for query, and where is the cash and where is anything else? Nobody knows. This is one big farce. Let me actually again mention the specifics of what has been found about illegal gratification. And here is what the report says according to sources. In view of the totality of the facts and circumstances, the committee is of the opinion that allegations of accepting illegal gratification have been clearly established, which are undeniable and based on systematic deliberation of Committee on Ethics. At this juncture, the committee would like to emphasize that taking gifts and other facilities from a businessman to whom she has handed over her official login so that this businessman could directly operate her members' portal and post parliamentary questions of his choice may be in small quantity of numbers and on a few occasions, but amounts to illegal gratification and a quid pro quo. It is grossly an unethical conduct. So quid pro quo, says the committee, has been admitted by the member of parliament where she says, I took a scarf, I took a lipstick, I took a makeup kit and this is unethical. Tawseefur Rahman.
Yeah, Padmaja, you see, first of all, Mahua Moitra is quite capable of handling a lot of things. And there are a lot of stories that TMC is backing out. They don't want to support. So as a national spokesperson, I'm sitting on TV and we are discussing on Mahua Moitra as well. Now, the thing is that what she has accepted, now she said, yes, I have taken some gifts and scarf and whatsoever. The ethics committee is doing his job, right? But the only thing is that कि हमने आजादी भी देखी, हमने गुलामी भी देखी और वापस से अभी हम गुलामी देख रहे हैं because if somebody wants to question the BJP led central government or raise concerns over the malpractice by Adani, how can they be expelled as MPs? I mean, this is definitely a part of political vendetta. And now I understand that there are some accusations which shall clear in the court. Now, my argument is very simple. What ethics court is doing, you are supporting, a lot of people are supporting. Maybe you not as an anchor, but BJP. Now, I have a question. How is that the ethics committee report condemning Mahua Moitra was known to everyone before adoption?
Sir, I have quoted some specifics. I will put that question to the BJP, but would you care to address the specifics of where the committee says quid pro quo has happened, and as far as the cash is concerned, because that's a fair, legitimate question, that Jay Anand Dehadra said 2 crores have been given. Where is the money? Who took the money? What is the proof? Mahua Moitra also rightly says, where is the money? 2 crore is small change. Here is what the committee says about that as well. As regards taking cash from Darshan Hiranandani as a sequel to quid pro quo, the committee wished to candidly point out that they do not have the technical wherewithal and expertise to criminally investigate and unearth the money trail. This is the task of central government institutions, and a CBI probe has been recommended. What about these specifics of quid pro quo according to the committee? Tawseefur Rahman.
Padmaja, who says that the cash has been taken? And who has said that the cash has been taken by Mahua Moitra? Who has said that?
Jay Anand Dehadra has said, subsequently a complaint has been sent to the speaker and to the CBI.
Right.
And now a central investigation is likely to be ordered. That's what Nishikant Dubey said yesterday. CBI has been agreed upon.
So I'm sure this particular gentleman must be having a lot of proofs, lot of paperwork, and lot of fact that he's quoting this one. But the only thing is that कि कहानी पे कहानी आप बनाते जाएंगे. आज 2 crore है. Tomorrow it can be 20 crore, it can be 40 crore, it can reach 100 crore as well. But we have certain question for ethics committee.
So do you have proof that it is 0 crore and it is nothing else? You're absolutely right.
Then who will
You're absolutely
that?
right. We personally have no way of proving that this is true or false. You're absolutely right. But what we do have is an ethics panel made up of members of parliament saying it is true that quid pro quo we are certain of, cash will be probed by CBI. What about quid pro quo and the ethics panel saying yes, quid pro quo is proven and it's unethical?
So if it's proven, they will take it to the court, right? The expulsion will happen later or the suspension will come later. They will take it to the court. They will not leave so nicely that हाँ ठीक है हम देख लेंगे वैसे तो होने वाला नहीं है. But there are certain questions as a democracy I want to ask as well to the BJP leaders. I mean, clearly the draft report as well inspection was unfair. As we all know that the ethics committee panel had the ruling NDA in a majority. The same was made more evident in the adoption of the draft report where all those who voted in the favor of resolution were from the NDA. I mean, Padmaja, who will answer this?
Okay. Respond on 2 points. Abhijit Iyer Mitra on the technical point of quid pro quo, and then you answer about all these leaks. The BJP needs to answer that. First, Abhijit.
See, the expulsion has been based entirely on sharing the password and nothing else. All the other charges have been referred to as serious but outside our investigative purview. Number 1. Number 2, you know, the way expulsions happen is they happen first and then they get challenged in court, because this is an internal procedure. It's like when you get sacked from your job, etc., etc. It is an internal procedure which, if you want, you then go and challenge in court. So, for example, what happened with Rahul Gandhi? He was disqualified and then he was immediately disqualified by the speaker, which then got challenged in court and he got reinstated. So that is how it happened. So we need to be very clear about sequence, and we need to be very clear about why the expulsion was done. And I would point you to the NIC, the form that is given to every single member of parliament by the NIC when they sign up for their email login and the portal login. The very first line, point number 1 is login and password can't be shared.
No, and this is very explicitly mentioned in the report as well. Just a second, I will come back to you both gentlemen. But Rakhee Rathore, answer on this. These selective leaks, this double standard vis-a-vis Ramesh Biduri, it just reeks of vendetta. And the process itself is being questioned by Tausifur Rahman, who's saying, today you put it ethics panel, tomorrow you will expel her, day after tomorrow you will put the CBI on her trail. Even if, 2 years later she is declared innocent, who cares? Her reputation will be tarnished. Her career will be over.
I quote the word punishment, because this kind of severe punishment should be given, because this is a very important issue and very sensitive issue related to our national security. He was asking about leaking of the report, but it is very much obvious, because Mahua Moitra and the businessman, they have accepted their crime, and that is why the thing which was needed was adopted by the ethics committee, that there should be a revocation of MP status of the lawmaker. It is very much obvious, and this kind of action should be taken. It is needed, because the people of West Bengal, they have voted for
But
Mahua
ma'am,
Moitra.
it reeks of vendetta. It all boils down to the process reeking of vendetta.
It's a victim card. Every time they play this kind of victim card, I think this is not fair, because the people, they want to ask questions about their welfare.
Padmaja, you talk. I will talk about the ethics committee. You have the charges. I am listening all the charges. Madam is giving me some. I am listening to it. That's not a problem. But there are several pending cases in the ethics committee as well. For instance, around a month ago, BJP MP Ramesh Biduri used a foul language in the new parliament and attempted to hurt the dignity. Now the BJP says, "ये सब तो चलता है."
Rakhee Rathore.
गालियां तो चलती हैं. इसमें तो कोई मसले नहीं है. I mean, the ethics committee chairman stated that the matter could be investigated if there is any merit to it. But how can an expulsion be recommended when a matter is still subject to investigation?
You are trivializing the whole issue. It is a very sensitive issue. You can't compare these two issues, because this issue is related to our security. You are stating, you are comparing these two issues. That means you are trivializing. How can a person, a lawmaker, can share her credentials with a businessman and ask questions on his behalf? This is a very serious matter.
With the greatest of respect, yes, this has got to do with national security, as is being claimed, but the fact that a member of parliament uses terrible language against a fellow MP is also not a trivial matter. We really hope that the same alacrity is shown against him as well. That being said, I want to stick to the facts of this case again. Vivek Srivastav, again and again, the counter allegation is that nobody wants to talk about the findings of the probe. Everyone is saying the process is rigged, it is against natural justice. Last hearing, I remember that, a lot of MPs stormed out saying कि द्रौपदी का चीर हरण हो रहा है. Now we've got details of what actually transpired. Who said what, because they were very serious, and I agree with you, terrible allegations were made about the kind of things that a lady was asked, which no lady should be asked. Yes. So now there are minutes of what actually transpired. Let's listen to a dramatized representation of the entire conversation that took place last time around in the ethics panel meeting. Was there really Draupadi ka cheer haran? Listen in.
वर्ष 2019 से आज तक आपने कितनी बार श्री दर्शन हीरानंदानी जी से बात की है? क्या इसका ब्यौरा आप समिति को अपने मोबाइल कार्ड का डिटेल निकलवा कर दे सकती हैं?
That is completely violative of my right to privacy. You have absolutely no right to ask me this question. I'm going to boycott these proceedings. If my fellow women MPs do not look out for me today, you will never get a chance to look out for me.
Chairperson sir, this is ridiculous. You are asking personal questions. ये नहीं हो सकता है. ये एथिक्स कमेटी के सभापति के नाते क्या क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं? I am charging you that you are asking unethical questions in the ethics committee. As a chairman, I want this to be on record. As a chairman of the ethics committee, you are asking unethical questions to a lady member of parliament.
आप पूछ रहे हैं आप किससे बात करते हैं? नरेंद्र मोदी किससे फोन करके बात करते हैं? Not at all. It has nothing to do with it.
This is too much. आप किसके साथ सोते हो, किसके साथ घूमते हो? आप ये प्रश्न पूछ रहे हैं. आपको शर्म आनी चाहिए. This is too much.
आप ऐसे प्रश्न नहीं पूछ सकते हैं.
I am registering my protest. I am going.
आप बैठ जाइए.
I am requesting the MPs to boycott these proceedings.
This is too much. You must be ashamed.
हम बहिष्कार कर रहे हैं. चलिए.
You must be ashamed. Let us boycott.
I wish to place this on record that you cannot do this.
आप विशेषाधिकार लाइए हमारे खिलाफ. क्या समझ लिया? क्या द्रौपदी का चीर हरण करने के लिए एथिक्स कमेटी बनाई?
I wish to place on record that the chairperson of the Ethics Committee has behaved in a completely prejudicial manner, has taken a filthy line of questioning, and I have been subjected to Draupadi ka Vastra Haran, due to which I am leaving this committee. Please place it on record today.
आप एथिक्स कमेटी में इस तरह के सवाल करेंगे? आई एम अशेम्ड। आप एथिक्स कमेटी में बैठकर अनएथिकल सवाल पूछेंगे? आपको शर्म आनी चाहिए। कौन किसके साथ सोता है, कौन किसके साथ जाता है, क्या ये आपके सवाल हैं?
बेशर्म, बेहुदा।
बेहुदा बात कर रहे हैं।
ये रिकॉर्ड में है, आपने चेयरमैन को बेशर्म और बेहुदा कहा है। हम भी प्रेस में बोलेंगे।
शर्म आनी चाहिए।
So now it turns out, Vivek Srivastava, that what actually the Sabhapati said was that how many times have you spoken to Darshan Hiranandani since 2019?
Yes.
Can you please take out the call records and give it to the committee?
Yes, I mean, I think it was much more than that, and you have shown quite less. It was much more than that regarding, I mean, the whole Abhijit Iyer Mitra is wrong in the sense that he is saying that if Mr. Darshan Hiranandani has given an affidavit, which is a legal document,
sir, I would
that
love to be
amounts to same
contradicted.
thing as
No,
a
hold on a
physical
second.
presence.
You
No, sir, it does not
cannot,
amount towards the
without
physical
evidence, out of
presence.
hand, just dismiss what we
Yeah.
said. I have quoted to you verbatim what our sources have told us,
Yeah.
that he said this, then she said
What?
this. Then he said this, then she
Your
said
sources
this.
are wrong.
Your response was,
Your
this is
sources are
rubbish.
wrong.
How do you know?
Your sources are wrong.
What are your sources?
No, I'm saying it that your sources are wrong. My sources have said that it was my. What are your sources? And how are you getting this out?
What
And
are
who
your
has leaked
sources
it out
telling
to
you? Okay, tell me what
I
are
mean,
your
let's not get
sources
into
telling
that
you?
part.
What
So
are your
it is much
sources
more
telling
than
you?
that. Yes.
Let's take
Yes,
this.
my sources.
What are your sources telling you?
When we talked and what? Yes, sure. Now listen to me now. What are your sources? First you declare, because you have shown.
Arey, I just showed
and
you
are
what my
responsible
sources have
national
said.
channel.
My
So how
sources
did
have
you get
told
this
me
documentation
verbatim
and how are you
that
showing
the
it?
Sabhapati said,
No,
वर्ष
I mean, is it
2019
allowed?
से
Is it
आज
legal?
तक
What
आपने
you're doing
कितनी
right
बार
now?
दर्शन हिरनंदानी से बात
The
की है?
Sabhapati-
क्या आपका इसका ब्यौरा आप समिति को अपने मोबाइल
Did you
कार्ड का
talk to
डिटेल
Mahua
निकलवा के दे
Moitra?
सकती हैं?
Did you talk
to which suddenly
Did-
Uttam Reddy says you have
ठीक है,
gone
ठीक
beyond
है।
your
आपने-
limit.
आपने इस क्लिप को आपने इसको दिखाने से पहले महुआ मोइत्रा से क्लैरिफिकेशन लिया या नहीं लिया?
Sir, we
That
have
whether this is
also
right or
quoted
wrong.
what she
Or
said
you have
in the
one-sided
committee.
taken it from someone and displayed it on the national TV.
Sir, do you want to
No,
talk about
did you
facts or do you
ask
want
her
to...
and talk to her whether this was the only question or not? You did not.
Sir,
you
we
did
have
not.
called up
Your
nobody-
facts are misplaced. It was
Okay,
much
first
more
of
than
all,
this.
I do
and
not-
she has accused the chairman, Mr. Sonkar of. Yeah. So let's not get into it. Let's not get into it, Padmaja.
We should
Let's not
stick
get
to
into it.
facts.
Let's not
I
be
am
one-sided.
telling
If
you
Mahua is saying something
that
objectionable
this
was
is
said,
the exact verbatim what
champion
our
of
sources
women's
have told
rights.
us.
Champion of women's rights on.
You tell me.
No, I do not agree with
Okay,
you. It was
fine.
much more than
Okay,
this.
fine.
And
Forget what I
Mahua
said. Just
and
tell me
our-
according
and
to
our
your sources,
four
what
opposition-
exactly
and
did
our
Vinod
four
Sonkar
opposition
say?
member parliaments have said.
What did Vinod
Yeah.
Sonkar say according
She
to your
was
sources?
harassed
Tell me
and-
verbatim.
And private details of her relation. No. Listen to me now. Why should I say something verbatim? Why should I quote it to you? It is wrong. It is unethical. All that I'll tell you is the spirit was he was trying to harass her by asking her details, which amounted to knowing more about her relationship with a particular man. And this is not a good question to ask any woman. Today, the champion of the women's rights, including the BJP spokesperson sitting over here, should bat for Mahua Moitra, whatever be the cause. Number one. So it was harassment, and that is why she walked out. Whatever may have been the
Let me quote to you again
Number
some
two,
more
Mr.
conversation that happened,
is
because
just
again you
an
don't want to go into
Yeah.
specifics, but you will keep rubbishing what anyone says. Question number 2 asked by the chairperson is, क्या आपने हीरानंदानी जी से 13 अक्टूबर 2023 से अभी तक कभी बात की है? यदि हां तो कृपया निम्न प्रश्नों का स्पष्टीकरण देने की कृपा करें। इस अवधि में आपने कितनी बार श्री हीरानंदानी जी से बात की है? यह बातचीत किस विषय में हुई? डू यू थिंक जिस प्रश्न का आप उत्तर नहीं देना चाहती हैं वो नहीं दीजिए। आप पर कोई बाउंडेशन नहीं है, आप वो छोड़ दीजिए। आप श्री हीरानंदानी से बात करने के लिए किस सॉफ्टवेयर का प्रयोग करती है? Sir, if I am investigating a conversation between two people, do you think that you have the right to say, can you please give me your call details, or that is also violative?
This is much more than that. He was asking her to explain the details of the conversation between her and him. And this is a wrong question to ask a woman. The question could have been, did you talk to him about anything related to parliamentary affairs or not?
Rakhee
But his
Rathore.
question was not that.
That is what he
so
said.
it is objectionable.
You are
And the
diverting.
questions were much more than that. And the question
My
was much
fellow
more than that.
panelist is diverting the whole issue. It is not about women or men. It is about a person, a lawmaker who is on a responsible post and was not supposed to share her credentials with a businessman. The committee was asking about the OTP details only. That was the whole purpose. And that was the part of investigation only. I think she should have, supported, she should have cooperated the ethics committee, and instead of doing this, she was very rude. So this is not to be done, and it is very much clear that, he is at the false line, she's at the false line, and this is the reason why I strongly recommend and I would request the Lok Sabha Speaker, a strong action should be taken on this. That will set an example for other lawmakers.
Vinod Srivastava, just to be clear, you think it is improper for a lady to be asked, ये बातचीत किस विषय पर हुई, but it is proper for a lady to say बेशरम and बेहुदा.
बहुत अच्छा किया बोला. मैं इंडोर्स करता हूं जो महुआ मोइत्रा ने बोला. यही बोलना चाहिए ऐसे प्रश्नों के लिए. जिसको औरतों की इज्जत करनी नहीं आती और एथिक्स पैनल का चेयरमैन बना बैठा है, इट इज शेमफुल. और यहां बैठ के भाजपा की एक महिला प्रवक्ता जस्टिफाई कर रही है उसको.
ओके,
आप हैरेस कर रहे हैं महुआ मोइत्रा को और आप चला रहे हैं इसको विदाउट टॉकिंग टू महुआ मोइत्रा. कल आप हल्ला मचा रहे थे नीतीश कुमार के इशू के ऊपर. आज विमेन राइट्स सब उड़ गए हवा में.
Play the victim card always.
Yes.
This is not to be
then
done.
the question
This
could
was
have been
part
more
of
proper.
investigation,
And there could have been many more questions which have not been shown here.
OTP which was shared by Mahua Moitra, and that is the only thing. She should have cooperated with him if she has not done anything wrong. So this is not to be done, sir. You have to accept that you compromised on parliament.
Let's get Tausifur Rahman back on this. But before that, Abhijit Ayar Mitra, just impassively, this was a little nudge, wink thing to ask a lady, meant to harass her?
See, it's very simple. If the accused has spoken to the co-accused at 11 o'clock at night or 12 o'clock at night or 1 in the morning, I want to know what is a feminist sensitive way of asking the question.
Tausifur Rahman, you want to take that up? Or maybe Mr. Srivastava would want to take that up. A feminist way of asking a question.
Padmaja, everything is said and done. But when you talk about justice, I want to know about Ramesh ji and Mahua Moitra both. I mean, Mahua Moitra ko leke jitne serious aap log hain, I want to ask about Ramesh ji as well. Did you remember Meenakshi Lekhi standing inside the parliament and threatening the other co-parliamentaries that aap chup ho jaiye warna aapke ghar mein bhi ED aa jayega? Such languages using inside the parliament, it's okay. वो चलता है, वो कोई मसला नहीं है.
See, on that there is no debate. I think I've said this unequivocally that the same alacrity should be shown against a member of parliament who uses derogatory language against a fellow MP. But
Padmaja, Narendra Modi in West Bengal taunting the Honorable Chief Minister of West Bengal. Didi, oh Didi. I mean, this is the kind of credential BJP have right now.
Okay, and now we are sidestepping the question on the issue of Mr. Biduri. I think we were absolutely clear. But again, let's stick to facts. Answer the question, Vinod Srivastava. If somebody wants to investigate a phone conversation, what is a proper way for that question to be asked according to you?
I'll tell you. You better stick to what you're interested in. My interest, if I am going to question the accused, is not going to be what is the kind of talk she does with whom. My question is going to be very specific. Did you talk anything related to parliamentary affairs with this so-called friend of yours or not? That is a specific question, which is neutral in nature.
That is what he said.
The aim was to harass that lady just because she's a woman.
That is what he said.
Everybody objected.
He said,
and that is why everybody objected.
Have you spoken? In fact, he was as specific as saying, have you spoken to Darshan Hiranandani on the 13th of October until the present date? And how many times have you had a conversation?
She's a woman, Padmaja, just like you. You cannot ask the derogatory questions कि आप किसके साथ गए थे, whom you are sleeping with, where are you getting all this?
But where did he say, whom are you sleeping with? He said, who have you spoken to?
This whole debate is kind of fascist. I mean, look at the facade of this debate. I mean, you are targeting a woman, not an MP. More than an MP. She's a woman first, Padmaja. You cannot ask such questions.
Sir, I want to quote to you one part where the speaker said, not the speaker, the chairperson said, आप पर कोई फाउंडेशन नहीं है, आप पर कोई फाउंडेशन नहीं है, जिस प्रश्न का उत्तर आप नहीं देना चाहती, वो नहीं दीजिए. But then he said, if you've had a conversation, can you tell me how many times and what was the content? Now, if I want to investigate some conversation that happened, I will have to ask, what did you talk about? Tawseefur Rahman.
Ethics Committee, Padmaja, Ethics Committee is not a Supreme Court. It's not a High Court. And they are not the judges. They are run by the NDA. They are run by the BJP majority Ethics Committee. You're talking about those Ethics Committee who want to dissolve their own problem and they want to make a new problem, which is Mahua Moitra. What is her fault? Mahua Moitra was just asking questions about Adani, Ambani and Narendra Modi. That's our biggest fault of Mahua Moitra.
I mean, that's very evocative question, but actually the report does mention what her fault is. One, taking illegal gratification. Two, sharing her login with a third party. Three, giving it to somebody which may have endangered national security. They are very specific about it. But on the issue of Cheer Haran, I think it's again boiled down to this. Abhijit wants to respond.
Look, I mean, not one of them gave you a specific question. I asked them what was the feminist sensitive way of framing this question. They did not. Now they bring in Ramesh Biduri. Let's not forget Mahua Moitra also you called a MP Harami. Have you forgotten that? There's been no action taken against her for that either. So understand, abuse equals abuse. Sharing password is a different layer of accusation. And sharing passwords for quid pro quo is a completely different layer of accusation. Okay, none of this is being taken into account out here, and it is constant deflection. I don't want to respond to constant deflection.
Okay, final word, Tawseefur Rahman, and then Kumar Zaman Chaudhary.
पद्मजा, दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम. गालियां चलती हैं, छोटी छोटी बातें पार्लियामेंट में होती हैं. सो दिस इज कमिंग फ्रॉम बीजेपी एंड नाउ टुडे इंडिया एंड द होल वर्ल्ड इज वाचिंग बीजेपी द काइंड ऑफ इन्वेस्टिगेशन दे आर डूइंग ऑन अ वुमन. इट्स नॉट अबाउट महुआ मित्रा. She is a woman. This is what I want to repeat every time. The whole debate should be derailed because of this. Because I'm not blaming you, Padmaja. I'm not blaming Times Now. But look at the BJP woman. She's sitting there. I mean, आप किसके साथ सोकर आए हो? आपके पास क्या? I mean, what kind of, is this the ethics committee's ethics?
Okay, first of all, let us again be clear that there is no documentation, minutes of meeting that talks about that specific question being asked. If it was, it is absolutely reprehensible. But the transcripts and minutes of that meeting talk very specifically about specific questions asked, about content of a conversation, duration of a conversation, and the period in which a conversation took place. Now, is that harassment or comes within the purview of investigation? I leave it to your wisdom. As of today, the committee report has been adopted, which in all likelihood means that in the next parliament session, Ms. Mahua Moitra will face expulsion and Danish Ali will face censure for the language used in the last meeting. We haven't heard the last word on this yet. Thanks very much. All gentlemen, Rakhee Rathore joining me.